Yo,
We're
what's
back.
up, folks?
How we
Uh,
doing?
Better late than never. Had to figure out some technical difficulties from yesterday to today, but we figured them out, so we'll never have to deal with that again.
I'll tell
Uh,
you one thing that was already figured out. That freaking card that you freaking took this freaking weekend.
hey, bro, I felt good going to sleep prior to the card, and I woke up feeling fucking just as good.
Wow,
And
bro.
it was just one of those things. I was just like, man, like I feel really good about this card. I felt good about the whole live stream and how that was going to go. And yeah, everything just, fell into place. And what's funny is it's usually 12 fight cards. I, uh, I either win well or I do fucking horrible. Like it's one or the other. There's no in between. And usually when I go 9-3 in particular on a card, it always
Yeah.
puts me like right outside of the top 10 on the tracker. But I think the underdogs, I think they said like what, seven of them won fucking
You hit
yesterday.
you hit some massive underdogs. I thought I was on a roll until I saw all the ones you hit, and I was like, man, maybe I didn't do that good.
Fucking shouts out anime edits in the chat. Shouts out Queen Angel
Queen
in the
Angel, what's up?
much love, much love. Sorry for the late broadcast, but better late than never. And that's the fun thing about being on this journey is I'm learning every day how to fucking get through. Basically just familiarizing myself with technology that I haven't really used ever. So hey,
Absolutely.
there's always a lesson in every L that you.
Hey, I was watching you in that live. You were running a live. You were doing shorts on the side. You were doing all of it, bro.
Bruh,
It was
shouts out to our brand new 25 subscribers that we got yesterday.
yeah.
And
Hey, it's like it's. I think it's like around 30 something now, because we're at like 65. I think we got like a total of 35 total somewhere around there, if
okay,
I'm not
okay.
mistaken.
Yeah, no, I mean, shouts out to all the new viewers. Shouts out to everybody that tuned in to the live stream yesterday. That was the first one I ever did of those. And it was successful. It was dope. Made some friends along the way. Once again, shouts out to my folks, anime edits and longtime viewer Queen Angel as well. So, that shit's super dope. And yeah, it was a successful night. I went 9 for on my pick. I believe I went 8-4, even though the tracker had it like 6 out of 12, which I think he
Yeah,
took my picks and he was sick and there was all kinds of wild shit going on.
yeah. I was worried about that. Not too worried. I still broke the top 27 in the win column, even though I didn't get Boudet, which I had on the undercard for underdog.
Yeah.
There was a few picks that didn't get me, but you know what? They always usually do me right. So I know that any mistakes made, you know what I mean? Like it's next. It's always the next card, right? Always on the next card, baby.
Well, and it was just funny this week, being so successful as it was. First off, shouts out to the UFC predictions tracker, and I wish them a speedy recovery from illness that they, um, ended up getting. So they ended up having to kind of give this condensed version of the breakdown. And I was like, damn, man, I really wanted him to point out those underdog wins. Like, that's what I wanted to see. I was
Right.
like, the ROI was going to be good. I knew my picks were going to be good, but I really wanted to see that underdog spreadsheet.
Hey, bottom line, anybody that took your picks or my picks for underdogs, we're making money this weekend. And that's all that matters because what we're selling is truth. You know what I mean? To what we're from our homework that we do from our fight knowledge. Like we're really doing this. You know what I mean? We're not pretending. We're not. You know, I feel like we're in a competitive atmosphere, not with one another, but with other channels. And I love the all the love and support and the hate. No matter it all comes with it. But I think you hit big this weekend. I mean, you did big for the team.
Nah, much love. I
That's all that
appreciate
matters.
that. I appreciate that. Real quick, going to the chat. Welcome, JD. Much love. Do we play Fortnite? I do not. The one time I ever attempted to try to play that game, I realized how old I was, and that shit, I felt like I was just in like a fever dream. I didn't know what the fuck was going on around.
Yeah, I play Call of Duty. I don't mess around with Fortnite. My kids play Fortnite.
And then Queen Angel asks, "Where do you announce when you're gonna go live?" This one was just an impromptu. We were actually trying to get one done yesterday, shortly after those fights ended, but unfortunately, we just ran into some tech difficulties that neither one of us could really figure out at the time. But once again, we here now, so appreciate your patience and bearing with us. Um, let's see here. Adam NYC broker. Want put sleep. Well, that's the beauty. You can go ahead and out of this live right now, buddy. So you're all good to go. But
Absolutely.
you for tuning in for the short time that you did, long enough to go to sleep. So, at least we had you here for a little bit. It sounds like Anime Edits is playing Fortnite right now or
Yeah.
Call of Duty or something. So salute to you. Got the chance to check out your channel. Definitely want to tell everybody to go check out Anime Edits. They're doing their thing with stop motion, with action figures, shit like that. Just giving you that
And thank you for the support, Anime.
so yeah, and an honorary moderator of Bros Talk MMA. So much love to them. Oh, he's playing Fortnite. That's what's up. Van Thomas. Let's see here, but what about catching some nice panfish under a tree? Not sure how that goes, bro. I might have to check your channel if you have some panfish tutorials or something like that. Or you're a troll and you just made me say something
Yeah, I'm not. I ain't looking at that shit.
like translate quite yet. I had a couple cats come in and have me say some some funny shit. I was like, "Oh, you got me." And then there was a couple folks where I was like, oh, "I see what the fuck you're doing right now. I see you." Let's see. The NYC broker said, "Looks like my breath stinks." Damn, bro, you want to get that close to my mouth to know what my breath smells like?
It's always them older cats that be trying to do some weird shit with kissing, bro. Be going on
That's,
asshole adventures
bro,
later on in life.
that's wild. You think about my breath, looking at it through the screen, which is fine. Hey,
Hey.
do your thing. But that's just wild work right there. Yop asked, "Do we like Rosa Parks?" I feel like there's something sketchy about that, so I'm just gonna move right along. Uh, let's
How
go
about
ahead.
this fight card for this weekend? Yeah.
Let's break the card. Do you want to start from the prelims, going to the main event, or you want to just start straight out with the main event?
I mean, we could. I feel like the main event always drags out, so we could get through this card as fast as we want to, if need to, just to get to the. Because some of these casuals don't know a lot of who these guys are.
For sure, for sure. We'll start in the prelims then, but real quick, Tedrick Webb. Have you guys ever been to Waffle House? Shit,
Hell yeah,
house is fire, bro.
absolutely.
As long as we're talking about the same Waffle
Waffle,
House, trust
Waffle
not.
House is a vibe, bro. I've been to one in Louisiana. It's popping, bro. No matter
uh,
what time you're pulling up.
Adam, NYC broker, pulling out an old school joint. That's a oldie right there, my G. I don't even know why you thought you could even pull that one off. No, don't spell I could. Anime edits got my
He's
back.
got us. He's got
Appreciate
our
you.
back.
Let's see here. Billy
R.I.P. Hulk
RIP.
Hogan.
We talked about this on my broadcast the other day, and I was just like, hey, there's no denying the impact the dude had on the wrestling industry. Taking himself from that industry in particular and transcending just into like a worldwide figure, helping that industry become something big in the process. But he was a fucked up dude, and
Yeah,
he just was. It's a shame that he desecrated his legacy on the way out like that. But like all respect to the career and the accolades of the wrestler Hulk Hogan, and I would say like he's the reason why I even started watching wrestling in the first place.
yeah, for sure. Hulk
I'm not going to
Hogan is
deny
Sting.
that, but at the same time, it's just like I can't not acknowledge certain aspects of his life that were very unsavory.
Yeah.
Hey, Yop said, they're still on that bullshit. Sotir Chicopana is on some bullshit too. Go ahead and exit out of this if you or continue to stay and run up these watch hours. Very much appreciated. Thanks for trolling. Billy Kidman, no one is perfect. Hey, that's what I'm saying, bruh. Like, that's what I'm
Yep.
saying. Like I'm gonna separate the man from the performer, in this instance. Uh let's see here. So yeah, anyways, let's get into this card real
In this
quick.
card.
Yeah, bro, I say a lot. Definitely. I should make some merch. Official master of YouTube. If you came here to hear the word then you're at the right fucking anyway, so okay, we're gonna break this card down. Starting with the first fight of the prelims, we had Martin Buday go up against Marcus Buchecha. A lot of behind Buchecha coming in, being the
Absolutely.
world-renowned grappling artist that they are. For
He had
me,
less body fat, better in shape, better fit. I feel like for a longer fight. Other than the experience,
yeah,
personally.
I actually was gonna go with them. Like, my intention was to go with them at first, and then I looked at Buday. For some reason, I don't know. I just like scoped out a little bit, and I was just like, you know what? Like, Budai, he has decent grappling. It's not fucking world class, but it's enough to guess what do I want to say? It's enough to stay on the feet, which was what he was able to do. The only time he really got himself in trouble was in the second round after he got down getting bull rushed. And then another time in the third round when he decided that he wanted to continue with top pressure after he had reversed or gotten a takedown of his own or something like that.
Yeah,
But all in all, I thought to myself, I'm like, it's a different game to grapple with somebody when it's a different game to grapple with someone when they can punch you in the face and like find
absolutely.
alternate ways to hurt you outside of trying to fish for submissions or scramble to find a dominant position. So that's really what separated things for me. And so ultimately I ended up going with Budai because I felt like they could do exactly what they did on the night, which was stuff takedown, tire out Buchecha. And I think Buchecha has potential, but they definitely, like, you have the grappling. So boom, you got that. So that's never gonna leave. Time to go get him and fucking get them hands up.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Buchecha waited a little too later in the fight to start trying to, like, there was at some point where he was taking his back, where he wasn't necessarily progressing with anything. He was more or less just trying to hold him down. And Boudet wasn't having it. You know what I mean? Like, he was scrambling. There was a little bit of chain wrestling and rolling. And eventually, when he got up, you know what I mean? As long as they were on their feet, Boudet was in a good spot. I think Buchecha was just trying to avoid getting knocked out.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, he that second round, that was the most like concerned I was during that second round. But I knew once they got to the end of it, I was like, oh, homeboy just used everything he had. I was
Yeah.
like, Udai can repeat what he did in the first round. I was like, which should be able to, because he appeared to be the fresher fighter, and literally he just got taken by surprise by homeboy in the second round. Homeboy bull rushed him,
Right.
took his feet out from under him, so
Right.
that he knew what to expect going into that third round. And yeah, he was just able to stuff everything and just stay dominant throughout.
I feel like he gassed him. I feel like he gassed both of them out. And that second round, they were pretty freaking winded going into the
Yeah.
back into the corner. So, and jujitsu, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an effective martial art 100%. But if the guy across from you hits harder than you, and he's not all oiled down, or I say oiled down, if he's not sweating or tired or having some kind of give, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's funny as fuck. Moving on to the next bout of the night, which was another one, bro. Like, it's crazy. Both of us literally talked about scenarios in this fight that would happen. I was saying how dead in the eyes and soul Muhammad Yahya looked on the tape.
Absolutely.
And, in the face off leading up to this fight, that I was like, oh, yeah, this dude ain't here to he ain't here to fight. And then
No.
Steven Nguyen, like, I knew that he's pretty much all gas, no brakes and shit like that. And that's pretty much what he said is like, I'm going out there to get finishes. I can't be out there being too measured. So basically, yeah, I just said to myself, like, bro, Nguyen's gonna, he's gonna touch this fool up for 3 rounds at least to a decision, if not get the finish. And bro, he came in there and knocked that man down like what 6 times, set a UFC
Oh
record.
yeah.
And it's funny, I think not only does like he hold the record for that many knockdowns in a fight, but I want to say that fight in its entirety holds the record for most knockdowns in general, because Muhammad Yahya did get one in there. And,
Well, for sure.
and I'm gonna give him his props for lasting. I'm gonna give him his props for not giving up. The ref had to stop the fight because dude had a whole planet fucking hanging off of his eye and shit.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna give him his credit for not giving up and being a fucking a dog in a sense. But that fight got stopped. It was funny because it raised the question in the post-fight press conference, which I didn't get a chance to see the answer. I'm gonna have to go check that out. But somebody apparently asked the guy who was running the press conference out there if maybe UFC should look into like 3 knockdown rule. Because
That's something to talk about because that's a lot of brain damage, and
exactly,
it's
because one thing if like okay you get knocked down to the ground and it just takes the ref a long time to like stop the fight while you're getting fucking finished off or whatever. It's
yeah.
another thing though, like I still think it's just as damaging if you don't have the wits about you to be able to keep from getting fucking blasted and put back on your pockets. Like I mean, I
Yeah.
would say that's just as concerning as someone getting beaten to the point that they can't defend themselves no more. You know?
Well, here's the thing: a guy like Yaya, to put what you said in a nutshell, he's all heart and no skill right now. You know what I mean? He's a low skilled fighter, and he has a lot of heart, and that to get a man, put away in a bad way. You know what I mean? It's dangerous because he's fighting some precision strikers who could kick you in the face at will, and if you can't protect yourself, I've seen Tony Ferguson in the real ugly battles that I didn't I didn't even want to watch the rest of it. You know what I mean? As he was getting hit and turning his head away.
Oh, bro,
Um,
Gaethje fight changed his whole career. That
yeah,
that literally like was the onset to what was the downfall going into the end of his.
I
That's not
think there's
his career. He's still fighting, but like right, that led to his exit out of the UFC for sure.
Yeah, I think there should be like a threshold of damage that's allowed to be done before somebody's eyes hanging out or they're freaking. You know what I mean? That's a
Yeah,
little excessive. I don't want to watch that. That's not entertaining for me. And I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
everybody else feels the same way.
Yeah, there's a point where you watch, a fight that should be getting ended and it's not ending, and you're just like, bro, this is sad. Like, and
Yeah,
this is what we're trying to keep, out of the, those stigmas that get, built around MMA about it being, human cockfighting and a barbarian sport and all that shit. It's like, bro, you guys, and like I said, the idea of someone getting knocked down 6 times in a 15-minute 3-round fight is fucking bananas. This isn't a
right.
fucking bro. This is fucking 3 rounds, and it's obvious homeboy doesn't have his bearings, and just because he's able to stand back up and like I guess throw a few punches, it's like, bruh, like dude
Yeah,
obviously isn't it doesn't have his wits about him. Just stop the fight. Quit letting him just because he's intelligently defending himself. And I'm all about, letting dudes go out on their shield too when it's like, hey, bro, that was premature stoppage. It's a weird in between that refs have to, they have to what do you call that? Balance. Uh,
right. You can't show
it's a
too
weird
much bias towards one fighter or You don't want to get a stoppage too early. Like there's a lot of things that go into effect. All these people that got betting odds and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's not just a fight ending; it's a bunch of money being messed with. And if it's not handled in a professional manner, like if it doesn't look like you know what you're doing in there, you know what I mean? And I'm sure it could potentially cost you your job. And I don't
Yeah,
see how letting these fighters get hurt isn't. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but I'm tired of seeing these fighters have to go through, you know what I mean, some of this, for entertainment. You know what I mean? Like I
no,
don't want to see anybody. I want to see them continue fighting. I don't want to see people with brain damage. I don't want to see, you know what I mean? Um, I don't know. It's just got to be a threshold. You know what I mean? If I want to watch some CTE happen, I go watch the slap challenge. You know what I mean? You can't put your hands up or nothing. You just get
yeah,
the shit slapped out of you and fucking off to the gulag. You know what I mean? I don't
yeah.
enjoy that shit.
That shit,
Like,
I lied, dog. I want to go to one of those live. Just
oh,
because
you're wild. You're
I
wild. I
know
can't
that
watch that.
fucking just the pop from fucking some of those knockouts is gonna be fucking amazing. But yeah, bro, that shit is super brutal. Like I can't, I couldn't watch that long term. And also, I've watched like a whole slap fight event. I actually even bet on it on fucking DraftKings, and that
Oh
shit was
fuck.
fucking crazy. I watched an assuming dude smack the shit out of this dude and knock him out, and I lost money because I was like, "There's no way this motherfucker is gonna be able
I
to
just
give a smack, let
I
alone
enjoy the
take a
sport.
smack." And I was completely wrong.
I just enjoy the sport too much, like the purity of it. You know what I mean? It's martial arts. It's competition. It's there's got to be a threshold to it. But
Yeah,
what do we got next on this next card? What
we
fight
got
we got on this next one?
favorite picks on the evening. We got
Oh my goodness!
Bo Aslan going up against Billy Alicana.
What I even ask?
Alicana did exactly what I had described would be the plan. He drew Aslan out to the later rounds, and that I
Sure.
believed is, of course, he stayed measured. He didn't fucking allow himself to get, fucking caught or anything like
Hey,
that.
you didn't give this guy his props for how much bigger he was than Aslan. He was substantially bigger, taller, and longer.
Yeah, he stayed measured, pointed him up and, just basically drew him out past, what I think is his threshold at this point because he's so used to, making fast work of everybody that, I knew that if this went to the cards, unless there was some weird like, possibility that, they seen it closer than it actually was, that, he could be on the wrong side of a split decision. But
For sure.
they were actually pretty good out there with the judging. Fucking overall, I think a lot of people are looking at that DeRitter call a little bit funny, which I'll take because I
I
picked Ritter, but I can't lie. Like Whitaker, he was stuffing a lot of takedowns and giving,
He did
make
exactly what I said was going to happen, though, right?
yeah, yeah. Are you good? But yeah, I mean, Alicana came through.
Have a hugging match with Whitaker.
Oh,
Was getting the lesser of the
yeah, no,
exchange.
I mean we'll get the Whitaker fight here in a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah,
like
for
the
sure, for sure.
Alicana, that was a major upset on the night, so I'm super super high on that. Aslan, I think that there's too much stock in this, in my opinion. Alicana stock raises, definitely, but Aslan, they'll put him back in the body, and I think one of his major concern going into this next fight is just shoring up his cardio.
Yeah,
So,
I I feel like he has some work to do if he wants to face some better fighters. You know what I mean?
mhm.
He put up a good fight though. It was a good back and forth. I felt Elconna he was the harder hitter though. You know what I mean? It was obvious, the impacts it was having on Ivo Aslan when he was getting hit on the exchange.
Mhm.
He would duck in and out of those exchanges, where Elikana more was ready to stand there and get take. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
I think he knew instinctually he was the harder hitter.
To be 100% honest, I didn't know who was winning until they announced it, because I was interacting with the chat so tough during that broadcast yesterday that I really wasn't even paying attention to the fight. So like I had, from the way that I had looked at it, outside of them flashing a few numbers on the screen, I was like, man, it just every time I looked up, it seemed like Alicana and him were either at a standstill or he was like getting the best of at least the exchanges that I was seeing. And even the commentary had made it seem a little bit like Alicana was stacked. So I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Alicana, big W for him. Getting
Yeah.
a dub out in Abu Dhabi.
Yep. Speaking of another big W, we got Amanda Hebos versus Tabitha Ritchie. I did not get this one right, but kudos to Tabitha Ritchie. She actually made me eat a lot of words yesterday. I just
Yeah,
looked at mostly a point fighter, hit patter fighter, somebody who they got skills, but I just didn't look at them as like threatening. And at least as they moved up the ladder too, and even based off their last performance, I felt like this was going to be a point fight had it gone their way. But no, she went in there and literally did the opposite of everything I said about her. And Hebos was pretty much the opposite of everything I said about her. She couldn't damage well. She wasn't throwing a high output, and she wasn't able to, stuff any of the like not stuff takedowns necessarily, but just like uh she wasn't allowing herself to not be put up against the cage. If Tabitha Ritchie wanted her up against the cage, that's where she put her, and that's where she ended up doing her work and dropping Hebos, winning that shit, I think, in like the second round.
in the second round. So, I mean, this wasn't technically really a great fight of display of skill set for Tabitha Ritchie because she, realistically, she had the faster hand. Basically, used to pin Amanda Ribas up against the cage and just started drilling her with elbows and pretty much put her away in the second round. And there's a lot more to her skill set. I feel.
Was the shit that like really hurt Hebos, was that shit a elbow or a shoulder strike?
With the elbow, it made like a little bubble, like she, you know what I mean?
Everything, and then literally she broke her down immediately from that point.
Mentally, she was broken after that. You could see her face. Like I said, Tabitha Rishi had the better boxing. She throws straight punches. Her punches aren't real loopy, so that's why I had so much confidence in her. I knew Amanda Ribas had better, had a harder. She hit harder, but she wasn't going to be able to get her punches in there and get to do what she was doing. I didn't think she was going to hold her up against the cage. I didn't think that she had strength like that. I thought it was going to go to the ground and potentially go to a submission or do some ground and pound. But I knew Tabitha Rishi was going to take this. I 100% stood behind Tabitha Rishi, and I was so proud of her to see her get her W.
Yeah, no, salute to you, bro. You called that one. Like I said, that was the complete opposite. Everything.
Boudet and Tabitha Rishi was underdog for me. Was my first two. Hana, yep.
But then we move into one of probably my biggest calls of the night, in my opinion. We got DeMar Blackshear against Davy Grant. And that shit went according to plan for me. I said that Davy Grant is a dog. You're not gonna put him away easily. The best route to victory was the grappling, though, for Blackshear, but their gas tank, is an issue. Sometimes they're able to stay measured, but it has to be with dominant grappling. Like they have to be able to be leading the dance for them to be able to measure their energy. And he tried too hard in that first round to get him out of there. And then after that,
yep. You have a gift.
are able to get some shit off on the stand up. he's just going to eat that and keep coming forward, and you're already tired. So yeah, it went exactly.
You got a gift and an awareness for spotting dangerous, angry white man because I I had no idea that dude was gonna come out handling business like that. You know what I mean? Bro, I thought Demond Blackshear was more than what he was, but I think this was a fraud check. To be honest with you, because it's a bigger name. He was coming in on riding high on a couple of submissions and some finishes. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
Davy Grant, you haven't heard much of him. And when I was watching, Davy Grant was putting the beats on this dude. Like you could see the effects of his punches on Demond Blackshear's face. Like he just wasn't enjoying it. And
Nah,
I knew from the second round, you know what I mean, after he blew his wad trying to get him out of there, Davey just stayed consistent, kept putting them straight punches, and he was looping them freaking punches as well. Like his haymakers was getting him. And I don't know. I was feeling defeat in the second round already. You know what I mean? Like before he put him out, I was feeling it for him.
no, not after the first one he stuffed in the second round. I was like, fuck, here we go. Huh? Yeah, it was. Yep, real shit. Twan Lorenzo said Blackshear is a fade for show next fight. Feel that, bro. I feel that. Uh, moving on, bruh. Now this is your call of the night right here, bruh. Fucking Muslim Salikov versus fucking Carlos Yall, bruh. I don't know what you saw, man, but you called it exactly like you said, bro. You said like this dude is. I knew he was dangerous, and I knew that basically like you know he when he decides to throw and when he lands, like if you ain't able to roll with it or stay out the way, that shit's gonna hurt. But man, I'm this dude. If he ain't cracking you with fucking spinning wheel kicks, this dude's out here fucking just giving you the straight beats.
Record where he only has X amount in the UFC, right? But he had career wise 85 knockouts, 86 as of last freaking weekend. Just I don't want to take nothing from the man. He hits pretty hard, and I'd hate to see him. So 86 knockouts, and I don't know. He just looks like anybody with that many knockouts, even as they get older, bro. They're looking for that knockout in an earlier, And I felt like that's what was going on. Like he was putting his head down. He looked a little bit like Justin Gaethje in some of that fight as the exchanges were getting. He was putting his head down and kind of looping them punches. And Carlos Leal looked like a deer stuck in headlights. His feet wasn't for flat. He was in a flat, like a squared off base. His hands were up, and he just swung right through that guard and cracked him, put him out. Like it wasn't nothing big that he'd done, but I knew just watching Leal's last couple fights, he wasn't real. He wasn't real scrappy. You know what I mean? He likes to do his jujitsu and do his wrestling and try to take guys to the ground. He's not a really big stand up. He's not a big fan of getting hit. I seen him get hit a couple times where he got knocked down, and he didn't. I mean, nobody looks like they're enjoying it, right? But he particularly looked like he wasn't enjoying that shit. So I just had a fact that I had a feeling that Muslim Salikov was going to be the doggier fighter of the two, and I took the KO with him too. I hit big on that underdog. Thank you.
Those fools had me lagging on the broadcast all fucking fight long. Like those fools, I didn't even get to. You were reacting to it on a phone call with me as I was watching it, that it was playing in live time, and the ads that they kept playing, fucking kept setting me back. I think I'm lagging real quick, bro. I think I need to plug the charger. Let me go get this charger right fast.
Money? You guys put any money down? What was up? I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, I can hear you. I can still hear you loud and clear.
The phone will charge up and then fucking
To be honest with you, I'm using my speakers through my Beats headphones or whatever. Last time I did it with just my phone, and you heard me loud and clear through the.
yeah. No, you're good. You go.
Sir, damn. What? Yeah, come on. We want to hear it. 580. How much did you put down for that? I'm telling you, if you were taking Cam's picks, you're probably that's probably why you hit so big.
Bear with us. Bear with us. Uh, moving on. Oh, the RDR decision. Mine. Good one. Good one. Bryce Mitchell versus Saeed Nurmagomedov in the featured prelim of the night. Went another one. That was another one for you, boy. Uh, I just felt like Bryce Mitchell has that farm boy strength, and I think people sleep on that shit. And that shit's real deal shit. And I knew that Nurmagomedov was going to have the hands, and that's exactly what happened. Is Bryce Mitchell just said, you know what, fuck all that. I'm gonna just be relentless in my takedowns, and I'm just gonna fucking wear on your gas tank and tire you out. Eventually, you're gonna tire yourself out, and I can do this shit all night. So, Saeed Nurmagomedov, he did get that knockdown, and that was like his best chance in the fight. And he should have, just. I think that was his game plan to keep it primarily standing, but Bryce Mitchell he couldn't get Mitchell off of him, and shit, fucking Mitchell just not ragdolled him, but just controlled him for 3 rounds, which is exactly what I said. Don't worry about looking for a finish. Don't worry about other than controlling the dude, tiring him out, and fucking getting the victory, going home. And that's exactly what happened. Boom.
Will say, well, Bryce Mitchell never knocks Saeed down. Okay, I get it, but there's control time, and there's, you know what I mean. There's other components to this fight, and I feel like though Saeed put him down, knocked him down. Usually, I'm pretty biased when it comes to knockdowns. If you have a knockdown, usually I'm rolling with you for the fight, but it didn't look like he was gonna be able to progress anything off of that substantially after that point in time. There was nothing to capitalize for a finish.
Here, moving on to Nikita
Oh, I
Krylov,
love this one. I
Bogdan
love this one.
Uskov, bruh.
Bro.
All this is to say basically for this fight. It was basically a repeat of the Dominic Reyes fight that Nikita Krylov got fucking his head taken off in, except for he lasted a little bit longer.
Sure.
That's it.
Sure.
But his defense is on in terms of the stand up, bro, is just bad. And I felt like it was a pretty decent fight up until that point, and then he got cracked and it was over.
Yeah. Yeah. I took Bogdan Gustav myself, and that was another underdog I hit. I was ecstatic for that because my man Ray was talking a lot of crap about Bogdan, and he was pretty proud of Nikita Krylov. So I was pretty happy to get that one. That one was a personal one from my co-host Ray Buck. Shout out to Ray.
Shout out Trey Bucks one time for sure, for sure. It was looking grim for him at one point, but he was able to claw himself back to even. So shouts
I've
out to him.
I've never seen him have a loser. I've never seen him lose a card. You know what I mean?
we can count on maybe one hand, literally in the 2 years we've been doing this show, how many times he's lost a card, like, was on the
Yeah,
next wins. So
yeah.
salute, bro,
He's
man.
yeah,
Um, moving on, we got Sue Almabayev versus Jose Ochoa. Called this one exactly how the fuck it went. I said Almabayev is gonna fucking grapple, and this is gonna be a boring ass fight.
yep.
So it's like
I
not gonna allow Ochoa to get his shit off, so therefore it's gonna be one sided, and he's probably not gonna submit him, especially after if this gets outside the first round. I was all
no.
like, no, he's just gonna have to just shoot for control the entire time, and that's exactly what he did. And it was a
Yeah.
boring ass fight, but we got the victory. And
I mean, I called it as well. I said Amabayev is going to have to his stand up's going to have to grow into this ground game. His ground game is his superpower. I felt like it was going to dominate over Ochoa even as it got into the later rounds because even if he couldn't progress, he was still able to take the man down. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's control and essentially if you're sitting there trying to knock somebody out, that becomes substantial because you're getting some guy to instinctively sprawl out whenever you're shooting a fake and you're able to catch him with some some good boxing. But unfortunately, Amabayev doesn't have good boxing.
yeah.
So
I feel
he could have finished it if he had good boxing, but I felt like he's got to evolve some with his hands because his superpower. Like, I mean, nobody's going to take his ground game away from him, right? Like he was taking them down at will.
yeah. I want to say he's young, so there's definitely room for improvement. Um, but I think we've already seen kind of where he's at in his career. For me personally, I think he'll be a top 15 competitor, but I
Yep.
don't I them vying for a title, especially at this point right now.
Right.
All
No, I
right.
think
All right. He might be a fade next fight, depending on who they put him up against.
you know, if I'd be surprised the type of fighter they'd put him up against because if they gave him another wrestler or another dominant grappler, you know what I mean? Something's gonna have to give.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Maybe I don't think they're in I think they're in the same division. They might do him and Maxim. I think that'd be a good ass fight.
That'd be a really good fight.
Ready. I think him, Sue Amabayev versus fucking what's Azat Maxim? I think that'd be a fire fight.
That'd be a dope fight because
Fuck yeah.
Maxim's not a boring fighter.
And he doesn't get taken down. He's like, fuck that. Like that fool fucking refuses to accept the takedown.
Right. That's where it would be. That's where the battle would rely on because I have a feeling Amabayev would be trying to take him down the whole time. If you
Yep.
fought him like the next fight, his stand up needs to evolve. I think he needs to take a little bit of time off, soak this W in, and get comfortable letting his hands go.
Yep. Real shit. I'm telling you, these guys that are already specialists in their, base, it's like, bro, like I get it. You need to train that shit, but like, how much of that is gonna leave you? Like
Yeah.
I think that shit's like, not. I'm not gonna call it riding a bike. I've never trained, so let me first off say I don't even have maybe jurisdiction to even talk this in depth. But what I will say is like, bro, like if you know where you're weak at, probably at least get as good at it as you can. I'm not saying you're gonna be able to, have this amount stand up, even amounts grappling, but there has to be, you gotta at least be if you're gonna have 90 in this fucking category, at least be like a 70 in the other one.
I mean, there's only so many fighters that we could watch that just sit there and do this. There's just that grappling and rolling, and it's not exciting. It's good to see all facets of it. I feel like his name's at the tip of my tongue as a champion. Super, super good with cardio. Um,
Marab.
Marab. There's only so many Marab fights we could watch, right? Because it just gets frustrating. You know what I mean? Watching him go for 5 rounds, just making
Well,
some dude carry his weight. Like,
I will say this, Marab I do enjoy because I see the breaking in the process. I see every time, even though someone may spring back up to their feet, every single time he's able to secure another takedown or just keeps marching forward, just start seeing fools break. I think that Umar Nurmagomedov fight was the best example of that, where
Yeah.
literally he just he couldn't he couldn't get his grappling going against Merab, and then Merab just kept taking him down to a certain point where he was exhausted and he couldn't do it. And and like
Yeah.
those are the points where like I understand that that's kind of like what separates me from the casual fan. Sometimes is that like I
Yeah.
understand grappling better now than I used to. Back in the day, I used to be like, bro, this is so fucking boring, bro. Uh,
Yeah.
but now I see it and I really enjoy it. Kind of like similar to the way I had to grow a respect for Floyd Mayweather. Like, yeah, like these fights are going to decision. They're kind of boring because fucking he's just point fight fools, and they're not able to really get their shit off. But then I
Yeah.
started leaning more into, okay, well, let me just look at this, and there was so much to see with the art of not getting hit, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn, okay, I understand it now. Like fucking, I see. Like this is a science, like it's just as effective to have solid defense as it is to be offensive.
I feel
And
like
so,
Israel Adesanya gave us a good look at that as he was evolving into a better striker from Derek Bronson onto, what I mean, as he got better, he was one of those fighters that could hit and not get hit. And
yeah,
for a long time,
exactly.
people wanted
People
to
were
see him in
saying,
there.
they were always waiting for him to get that highlight finish, and then his
Yeah.
fight, like against Cannonier or somebody like that, they kind of like stinkers in a sense.
Or
But
Yoel Romero.
yeah, oh, bro, that shit was crazy. That fight annoyed the shit out of me. But
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I did like Romero's approach. He was like, bruh, like, are we gonna fight or not? Like, I thought we was here to fight, but I get it. I get Adesanya too. Like, hey, bro, I'm just not gonna throw myself recklessly in danger against you. But at the
Yeah.
same time, like, bruh, like, somebody do fucking something. But
Yeah.
yeah, the art of not getting hit, bruh, it has to be just as effective as being able to fucking go in there and take some fucking head off.
Yeah.
Uh, Shouts out to a longtime viewer, Manu Fernandez. Style is the best base for MMA. I mean, hey, as proven by fucking Drickus Duplessis, you know.
I
And then
think.
shouts out Kevin Brindle. What's up to you?
Yeah. What's up, Kevin Brindle? I think personally, Sambo wrestling is probably the best. Sambo wrestling and judo probably
That's what
either one of those.
That's what RDR was saying when asked about his preference between American wrestling and Dagestani wrestling. He was like, I like the Dagestani wrestling because there's elements of judo and shit like that where you can, there's more than just the single leg blast double takedown, to find ways to get takedown, do trips and all kinds of other shit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a fan of it. Before I wasn't. I couldn't. I didn't like the whole Khabib era to where he was just making every fight boring, with holding people down and just dominating people with his, with his wrestling.
Mm.
But looking back at it, you know what I mean. Just you appreciate the. I mean, if you go and look at the sport, it's a violent sport. It's fun.
Yo, edits, what's good? I thought that you were in the middle of Fortnite matches. That's why I was just trying to, give you, your room to bust people's asses out there in Fortnite. But hey, like I told you yesterday, bro, you part of the fucking journey. You're honorary moderator.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
you start kicking motherfuckers out of here. Like I gave you the juice, so just know you ain't being ignored. It's just that we just doing we just doing what we do,
Yeah,
but
you're on the team, Anime Edits, and we appreciate you.
yeah, so no disrespect at all. But yeah, let's get into this next one. We had a Shara Bullet up against Andre Barrio. Um,
Man, this
yeah,
was a dog fight.
same thing. Same
I
thing
know.
I had expected. I knew that this was somewhat of a setup fight for him to do well against somebody of credibility. but I did know that I felt like Barrio was outmatched in this fight. Definitely had a chance, but he was outmatched. One thing I will say though is that Jar Bullet, bruh, kind of thing I was saying a little bit earlier. I don't know if they're necessarily title fighter, but they'll definitely, be hanging around the top 15 for some time for sure. And they're going to be an
Absolutely.
to watch in the future. But it's obvious as the competition is stiffened for him, he's starting to find humps in the road.
What's hard for him is he could only fight in certain places. So there's only like there's only a certain amount of people they could put in front of him, right? Because he can't come fight here in the U.S. for whatever reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it limits his window of opportunities with certain fighters. People aren't going to take a short camp against a dangerous fighter. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
especially putting your whether it's an undefeated title or I mean essentially just getting in there with the dude. The guy's violent. You know what I mean? He's done doing some dirty work, and I think him fighting through that broken nose, man, that was some nasty work, bro. I thought we'd seen the end of it. His nose got almost as wide as his eyes, bro. Like
he's
it looked like a cartoon, bro. But he fought through it. He fought through it, and you know what I mean. He came out. That's one. I mean, he dominated towards the end. You know what I mean. But through what he had to do to break Barriot to get him to that point to where he was broken and moving backwards finally, you know what I mean? And, I mean, he took his broken. I mean, he's got somewhere fractured in his skull. You can see his nose. It just looked terrible. It was broken. You know what I mean? But he's, I think, I mean, Barriot's not nothing of an elite striker. He is nothing to play with, but I think that there's far better strikers out there that would do more damage to Shara. And I think, eventually that's what's going to come of the pool of people that are coming behind him. You know what I mean? Coming to, challenge him.
for sure, for sure. Anime edits in the chat. You should. Hey, bro, I'm telling you. If you ain't familiar with the show, the word
uh,
gonna be, in your dreams. You're gonna wake up.
yeah.
Fucking but in terms of merch, yeah, like I definitely need to take this Bros Talk logo, put this shit on shirts.
We
Uh
have plans to make
I
some
got
merch. We promise.
shirts, but that's I got that merch for when I was in the middle of my music stint. But I do got Utica shirts. So if y'all looking for a fucking, let me go pull one out real quick.
Absolutely.
Y'all ain't watching the episode. One time, we got the t-shirts and shit. If y'all
Yeah.
shooting for here, if you can tell what the logo is,
Yeah, we
look
can
at my
see it.
look at the fucking logo. Uh, we got the tank tops, y'all. Shit, bro, it's summer right now, so we got tank tops for the folks. I got these in like 4 different styles. I got white with black fucking logo. I got black with white outline logo, and then I got black with a black logo, but it's tight because like the screen print shines, so you can still see the logo even though it's all black. If you're watching
Okay.
the episode, our last episode, you would have actually seen it. So, hey,
Yep.
I got merch, but I do need to make some bros talk shit. Like it's long overdue for bros talk.
Hey, shout out to Anime Ed. It's got 3 wins on Fortnite. That's what's up.
I
Collecting
got
dubs for the night.
fucking double duty right now. Fucking moderator and Fortnite champion. Let's
I'm
go.
telling you, he's killing it.
All right, moving on.
This is my favorite fight of the night.
Co-main event of the evening. Shouts out to Ray Bucks. Thinking on this one. I do know what he was thinking on this one, but I know
I
if
did.
I speak to him, he's gonna have to fess up to having you know, his pick being biased due to nostalgia. He's gonna have to. He knows better than this. He knows better.
He should have known better. I told him all about what was going to happen, and it happened exactly like I said it was going to happen. Peter
Bro,
Yan
I
had better counter striking.
Marcus McGee bad. I really wanted to go for Marcus McGee, but I just knew. I knew that this was too big of a step up in competition. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, bro.
yeah, yeah. I had a feeling. I mean, don't get me wrong. He put up a good fight. You know, what I mean, there was a lot of back and forth, and there was a lot of forward pressure for McGee. But Peter Yan had way better counter striking. Anybody that's seen Peter Yan fight knows that, you know what I mean. He's always looking for the punch next. He usually gets things
Yeah,
rolling in the second, third round when he gets dialed in. I feel McGee was trying to apply pressure, and I mean, in the earlier exchanges, you know what I mean, they were both going lick for lick. But as it took them to later rounds, I felt like he was more broken down, and Peter Yan was more stoic there in those second and third rounds of just applying pressure and doing what he does. You know what I mean? The
yeah.
trips and the
I felt
Muay
like
Thai.
round he started like sitting on his punches more too. Like I was like, damn, I ain't really seen power like that from on. Like,
Yeah,
all right, like he's definitely laying into some of these. So yeah, it went how I expected. Just he's just too technical. He's just too good. Like to be honest, like um he was a belt holder, lost it by a crazy technicality. I fucks with Aljamain Sterling. Don't think that he was the wrong necessarily for that, but at the end of the day, like John fucking was working that full entire fight. And yeah, when they met back up, Aljamain fucking controlled him for 3 rounds. So I think hopefully that'll be one that gets ran back down the road. But
and he's had some questionable losses on his record. That he's lost a decision, and I feel like he should have won. There's been a couple of those that's kind of, you know, that's given him some urgency to finish some of these fights because, like, some of these fights, you know, he fought Corey Sandhagen. I thought he did extremely well. Aljo, obviously, he got backpacked. You know what I mean? His life away.
yeah,
Um, but I think
he's one of the guys who he leaves the door open too much. He
for
needs to
sure,
start finding these finishes for sure, or having
absolutely.
like absolute dominant fucking performances because that's really been the only issue is that when he has a lot to lose, he leaves the door open. It's not even that he didn't fight a good fight like with Sean O'Malley. I mean, bruh, I think he won that fight, but he left the door open, and that's all you got to do.
I think his biggest problem is, and I love Peter Yan. You know, so we start with that. I love his fighting style. You know what I mean? Everything he brings to it. He's a really exciting fighter to watch. But hasn't been any real involvement in his fight game. Right? He's gotten better at what he does, but I haven't seen him do anything that he hasn't been doing already. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah. I mean,
as he's
he
fighting
won.
these elite talent, I don't think he's having the success because he's not able to adapt. Because that's part of evolving is adapting rather than sticking to the game plan. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely. I mean, he lost three and then strung three together. Um,
no,
like the people he lost to, that's elite competition. Aljamain.
absolutely.
He that split against Sean O'Malley. Like now that I even think about it even more, I'm like, bro, he won that fight.
That was
That's
Peter Yan. Yeah.
lost it. And then the loss against Marab Davalishvili, valid. Then he, strung three together, Song Yudong, Davison Figueredo, and
Yep.
Marcus McGee. So I mean, like, he's staying active. It's showing that he's still there, and he's still sticking around. I think that maybe one fight or sitting back waiting and see how this Corey Sandhagen and Marab fucking plays out. I think he's
Yeah.
earned the right for next in line, maybe.
You think so?
I think so.
If there's no involvement though, I mean it's going to be just a lot of the same of Marab taking him down and holding him against the fence, and I feel like it's going to take somebody of I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anybody right now that I feel like that can give Marab a real
Or
problem.
he's kind of not ran through the division, but there's just not a lot of folks that make sense right now. So it's
Right.
like you got O'Malley and Nurmagomedov in the 1 spot. Then you got Peter Yan there in the 3 spot. You got Corey Sanders in the 4 spot fighting for the title. And then you got Song Yadong, Davison Figueiredo, Marlon Vera, and I
Nope.
guess Batista. I would say maybe Mario could potentially, maybe find himself one fight or two away from the title. But outside of that, nobody else really makes either Marab's ran through them or Peter Yan's beat them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not going to make that fight unless it makes sense. I feel like Peter Yan probably won't get a chance at the belt until that belt gets out of Marab's hands. You know what I mean? It's almost like the Pantoja Brandon Moreno thing. Like, he's still a top competitor, but like, do we really want to make these guys fight again? Does it make sense, or does it make sense for people to start changing weight classes and bring in, you know what I mean? Either people moving up or moving down, but nonetheless, I think things are going to have to change as far as the trajectory to make these to keep the UFC exciting. You know what I mean? These guys can't stay in these weight classes. I feel like they should be not forced to move weight classes, of course, but I feel like they should have, look at Ilya Taporia, Islam Makhachev. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of weight changes, which I think is great for the sport because I feel like it gives us longevity for like being interested in fights that we haven't seen already, and it gives us an opportunity not to see these regurgitated cards of people we've already seen, lose or win. And I mean, something's got to happen, right? And I think the easiest thing for them is.
I think that's why Marcus McGee got a shot at, Yan. They're trying to inject some new blood into, those
Yeah.
higher, that way we can make a little bit more.
Yeah, and think about it. For like a guy like Ilya Taporia, any weight class you put him in, you know what I mean? They feel like they're in trouble. You're putting, you know what I mean? You're putting a lot of people at risk depending on what weight class you put him in because he's cleaning them out.
Yeah, no, real shit. We got Star Fox 402 in the chat saying Diego Sanchez is the GOAT. Diego Sanchez can crack a coconut. John Jones is a duck, and he got popped with PEDs numerous times. Hey, Diego Sanchez is, he's a legend. We're just basically we're keep it at that. John Jones, hey, if you've
He
been
wasn't
watching,
doing anything nobody
John
else
Jones
was
is
doing at the
fucking
time,
GOAT.
bro. For real. For real.
And then, let's see here. We got Anime Edits. They were playing some football. Okay, so you went over from the Fortnite to the football. That's what's up. That's what's up. Did you hear the new show Happy Gilmore too? Bruh, Happy Gilmore is a fucking legendary movie. I watched that shit millions of
Yeah.
times when I was little, and I feel like I'm not hyped enough for this sequel for some reason. Maybe it's just a bit too past its time for me to be like, oh man, I sequel. But I mean, hey, I see myself sometime. I guess I'll watch that at some road.
Yeah.
Okay, Star Fox was joking about Sanchez. I get it, but hey, I just wanted to, hey, I wanted to validate your comment potentially like you was like super Diego Sanchez fan. So I fucks with Diego Sanchez, but I also know, it's been a little wild. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey,
Him
let's get back.
and the new Happy Gilmore, that's tight. Fuck yeah. Fucks with Eminem in the movies. All right. Moving on to the main event of the evening.
Yeah.
Bruh. This one was a good back and forth. Definitely was shaky at times, and I'm not gonna lie. If you scored it for Robert Whitaker, I can't even be mad at you because if you ask me when that fight ended, kind of felt like he won. But
Yeah.
victory, so all for the fucking decision in
Hey,
my
if you
in my
watch
favor.
If you watch the show, it happened exactly the way I told you it was going to happen. The Ritter was going to be sitting there trying to hold him down, trying to make him carry his weight, and Whitaker was not going to let him walk away without touching him.
Yep.
He took advantage of every opportunity. He knocked Ritter down. You know what I mean? Dropped his ass with the hook, right hook, I believe it was. Um, yeah. So I don't see how he walked away with this win. But I'm not a whiner. I mean, it is what it is. Robert Whitaker did give him, but here's the thing though. Moving forward with the Ritter with his next, whoever they pin him up against next, I'm going to be pitting whoever they put him up against next, comparing him to Whitaker. Because if Robert Whitaker could whoop if they could whoop Robert Whitaker's ass, I'm pretty sure they could get it done with D Ritter because he didn't look like he was comfortable in there with the striking, with that phone booth boxing. I felt like Robert Whitaker was getting the better of the exchanges, although his gas tank, he seemed to catch up with them in the later rounds for Whitaker, and that's where D Renner kind of wore on him. Was going for the takedowns, was kind of working his game, but he wasn't necessarily like progressing to anything. You know what I mean? It was more or less
Yeah.
just trying to hold him down, but he did make him tired, which probably made his punches a lot less. But nonetheless, he was still hitting him, popping him, all the way through the end of that fight.
I think it was the visual for the judges too. I think Robert Whitaker he looked a mess, with blood sopping from his fucking facial hair and mouth
Yeah.
open because I'm guessing his nose got fucked up in some way or fashion. So he's breathing out his mouth and he he was getting the better taken of him in some points of the fight. So
Yeah.
I guess maybe that just looked a little bit more impactful to judges. But I just feel like when you're round 5 and you can't get a fucking takedown off and you're getting
Right.
fucking tapped every single time, you even approach the dude, I just felt like, Rob Whitaker was able to,
He
I think,
said consistent. He said more consistent, I feel, throughout the third round of
yeah,
applying pressure.
I want to say like he got like round, in my opinion, I would say if you were going to give it to Whitaker, he got rounds 2,
And three.
fucking 4, and 5. Or no, you're right. You're right. Rounds 2, 3, and 5,
Yeah.
and then the Ritter was good in the first and the fourth.
Fourth. Yep.
But yes, maybe that it has to be somewhere between round 2 and 3 that maybe one of the judges swayed in the other direction because you could not give him round 5. You just couldn't.
Well, you'd have to be putting on a dominant performance to get dropped and then still be able to pull a decision at the end. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
having not dropped the other guy. You know what I mean?
See,
Like,
but me personally, I know that it was judged as like a takedown or some shit like that. But I'm gonna be honest, I think that the Ritter dropped Whitaker with a knee because when he hit him with that knee, it looked like he then, transitioned into a takedown. But to me, it looked like Whitaker fell into him, and then so he was like, "Oh, let's go to the ground," and and was gonna, try and finish there. But he wasn't able to. And it
my
goes
personal
as far as,
opinion, it hurt, but Whitaker ate that knee. You know what I mean? He ate it because nothing changed of his posture or anything after. You know what I mean? He didn't look damaged to where like it even affected him, though it probably did. You know what I mean? He just
yeah.
carried a mean poker face with the transitional of the takedown after eating it, which
I think
uh,
that is the ultimate X factor in that fight that stuck out though was that fucking
that,
that knee to the body of DeRitter. I think that
sure,
was like he was landing it in a way that it looked probably more impactful than it actually was through the fight. Um,
sure,
and he was just landing clean too. And then there were times where you could see that it affected Whitaker, but all in all, like I said, I'll take the win in terms of my pick. But if I'm
no,
being totally,
congrats,
I don't know. Robert Whitaker actually won the fight, but how it goes. Like we just been talking about this entire time. You can't leave the door open, and I mean Dana White says
right,
that religiously. Like, don't let that
right,
shit go to the judges. You want
right.
fucking put a stop to fucking bad judging, don't even let them be a part of the equation.
Absolutely. Especially when you're in somebody's hometown, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta have it in your head. You're gonna go out there and put on a dominating performance. You know, otherwise you play it safe, you're gonna lose.
And I mean, De Ridder's Norwegian, but still, I feel like, yeah, just closer in proximity. He's fought for organizations that are more on a overseas level, you know, rather than, you know, the UFC that's like they travel around, but they're still more of an American-based organization. He's fought these other organizations that primarily take place on the international circuit. So I feel like maybe that could have had some influence too, but hey,
Absolutely. Hey, you hit big off of that.
yeah, no, definitely. Shouts out Anime Edits. They got
Got
a
a
new
new
action.
action figure?
So I'm assuming that you're going to be making a new stop motion video. So everybody be on the lookout for that. Shouts out Queen Angel in the chat. Sounds like they agree with our analysis. You know, so yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, all in all, though, it was a fire event. It was actually one of the few times that daytime MMA has like been good to me. You know, usually those are some of my worst picking cards, and
Absolutely.
sometimes I pick so bad that halfway through the card I just end up like taking a nap and shit because I'm just like, bruh, it's like
Yeah.
there's nothing fun going on here now.
No, I feel like this weekend has put a lot of eyes on us. You know what I mean? With the
Yo,
wins, considering
first shouts out to our 25 subscribers in the fucking past 20, or let's see, because we were at 240 at the beginning of the day and we're at 265 now. Like, so that's literally 25 subscribers in the past 24 hours.
yeah,
Like, shouts out to y'all, bruh.
yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for the subs.
Let's see. Have you ever heard the Drink Trunks song? If you haven't, then when you have a chance, put on when you have. Or are you talking about Drink Trunks? Or are you talking about Drink Champs?
Two champs.
That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming you're talking about Drink Champs, but nah, most definitely. I'll check it out. We're trying to get our own little jingle in the works, but you know.
Yeah, we got something cooking.
But let's see, Trunks, the drink song. Oh no, I haven't heard that. I'll have to check that joint out.
Have to check it out.
But shit, anything else, man? I guess you know we got Albazi and Tyara next week.
Yep.
That'll be a
Um,
grappler's delight.
absolutely. Um, I think we got some homework to do. I don't want to let any gems out, any secrets. I'd like to say, you know, our channel for this weekend was ranked as one of the most profitable channels. You know, courtesy of Utica and his picks. Check us out. You know what I mean. If you're trying to win some money, let us know. I mean, let us know. Tune in, subscribe. I mean, we're not selling anything fake. It's all truth. It's all from our personal experience, and I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right?
Yeah, we don't need spreadsheets. We don't need fucking you know, ESPN fucking style analysis and stats and all that shit. I've been following this sport. I've watched these people multiple times, you know, so it's like I know what I'm seeing, and you know, I'm not gonna be right every time, but I'm telling you, even when I'm wrong, I'm right because more often than not, if my people lost, then they lost in the fashion that I had
You've
said
explained it.
lose given their opponent's talents and attributes. So,
Yeah,
bruh, like it's a win-win for me because at the end of the day, I just want to see the channel fucking succeed and grow. So whether you win, I win, Ray Bucks wins, as long as somebody's winning, then we win. You know, and
I think as long as our
the entire community wins.
that's what I'm saying. I think as long as the entire community's winning money, we're winning. You know what I mean? They're happy with us. We're happy with the program. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Well, fucking we got anime Edit said they already made a stop motion video. So like I said, be on the lookout for that.
Yeah,
Shouts out,
tune in.
shouts out Queen Angel in the chat. Shouts out everybody else that joined the chat. We got Lo-Fi Hip Hop Grooves. Yo, you guys had some good picks. I made money. Fuck yeah.
That's what I'm
Shouts out
talking
Lo
about. Shout
Grooves.
out.
That's all we ever want to hear.
That's what we're
Thank
here
you.
for, my dude.
So yeah, that's what we here for, bruh. Bros Talk MMA. Uh, thank you for tuning into our recap. Thank you to everybody that tuned into my first official watch along for a UFC event. Shouts out to everybody that tuned into our 67th episode this past weekend. We'll have
Yep.
episode 68 coming up this Friday. You can expect to see us on Friday, probably around between 6 and 7 p.m. We'll be breaking down the UFC fight night card taking place at the Apex between Amir Albazi going up against Tatsuro. So yeah, fucking be on the lookout. Once again, shouts out to everybody that's been tuning in, like the stream, everybody that's subscribed to the channel. Like, we just can't thank y'all enough. Much love, Anime Edits, for being our honorary moderator.
Yeah, thank you, Anime.
Yeah, and then we got Raymond Pope in the chat, said hi,
What's up,
what's
Raymond
up?
Pope?
And yeah, that's it. That's what it is. You got any parting words there?
No, thank you for tuning in. Stop in this weekend. Friday's payday, so you know what's up. You trying to double that paycheck? Bring it to the channel Friday, 6
Yeah.
o'clock. Don't be late.
Be like Lo-Fi Hip Hop Grooves in the chat and make some money with your boys.
Absolutely. Love to hear it.
Yes, indeed. Well, much love. Once again, this has been another live stream edition of Bros Talk MMA. Wishing y'all nothing but the best this upcoming week. Happy betting leading up to this card. And until the next time, we out.
We out.
Peace.